What's up guys, Dice here, and today we're talking about the latest chapter of my Umamusume fan series, Umádromo, the Verset arc. And we just released a new chapter on Jet's birthday. Yeah, happy birthday, Jet. Although it is a bit of a dramatic irony given what happens in this chapter, but still, it's really cool that we managed to release a chapter of the Verset arc for a milestone like this. Now for this chapter, the plot really starts to kick in. I was coming up with this mini-series originally. I wanted it to be a more chill slice of life series without a specific plot in mind, because I wanted the actual plot to be eventually told in the fan game I would develop. It was largely to give people a small taste of the setting and characters, but then I realized that I have an opportunity that I might never get back. I shouldn't take for granted the people I'm working with, the time I have right now. So I decided I would take advantage of this opportunity to tell sort of the first few chapters of what Jet's story arc in the Verset arc would be like, and really show people in more detail what I have in mind, and maybe get some feedback before I really start to get to work on the nitty-gritty of the game. So for this chapter, I adapted the 4th ever race the Real versus Jet participated in. In this one, Jet was still a 3-year-old horse and trying to win his first ever race. By this point, the races that make up the Puerto Rican Triple Crown have long since passed, and I believe the only major 3-year-old exclusive race left was the Caribbean Derby in December. As you can see, time is running out. For the race conditions, I decided to include the real-life conditions in the game's own terminology alongside the chapter, as I felt that would make it easy to follow for fans of the series. The two details I wasn't sure of including are the racetrack and the Canovanas dirt detail. This is because there's only one racetrack in the whole island and there are no turf races in PR. Let me know down in the comment section if I should include these details in future races to better capture the feel of the game, or if you agree that it would get repetitive to always include them. So while doing this chapter, I learned that a fast track condition would be the equivalent of a firm condition in-game. For future races that have this term, I think I'll just change it to firm, as it would make it easier to follow for fans of the game. Again, let me know down in the comment section. Personally, I want to try to keep things consistent with the game's terminology, even if it might not be 100% accurate to how those conditions are mentioned in real life. Another thing to talk about in this race is the other Umas that race alongside Jet here. I told Juan that these would be NPC Umas and that they wouldn't have their own profile or any specific design details. I will say that there is one sort of exception to this rule, and that is an Uma that would eventually become a recurring rival for Jet. Her name is Slurry Oil. So Slurry Oil is an NPC Uma here, but when I develop the full fan game's story, she'll be included as a secondary character. Now, I will be talking more in detail about this in the making of video, but something I want to point out is the translation differences. So for the Spanish version of this chapter, the race commentary is accurate to the real-life race's race commentary. I wanted it to be as accurate as possible, because that is something the Umamusume series does. They always try to capture a lot of the real-life race commentary in the series. But for the English translation, I decided to change things up a bit. If you know Spanish, you'll notice, wait a minute, that's not really an accurate translation of the Spanish version. And that's because it's not. I wanted it to reflect more the vibe and general feel of watching a race in English. I did watch some Breeders' Cup footage for this, stuff like when Love's Only You won, or when Forever Young won last year. I also watched some others beyond that, like the American Oaks win by Cesario, or Sunday Silence's win. I watched all these to make sure I could accurately reflect the vibe of those races and how the commentary in an American horse race is done. Like here at the beginning, for example, it says the gates open and they're off. See, that's not 100% accurate to y abren las compuertas y está en carrera, but it's more so done to reflect the general vibe. If you don't know Spanish very well, then don't worry too much about these translation differences. It's not a major change. I didn't completely change what the commentary is saying. It was more so to capture the general vibe of how you would see a horse race in the USA, rather than try to accurately translate and come up with dialogue that doesn't feel very natural for watching a commentary in English. But let me know what you guys think. I am currently making the making of video for chapter 4. If you want to know when that comes out, please subscribe to my channel and like this video. Share it with your friends if you can. And I'll catch you guys next time. Adios.